In the early hours of the morning, while much of Chile was still asleep, the ground began to move. At first it was subtle, a faint vibration beneath homes and apartment buildings, the gentle rattling of windows, the creaking of walls, but within seconds the shaking intensified. Buildings swayed, power lines whipped back and forth, streetlights flickered in the darkness, and across entire communities, terrified residents rushed from their homes as a powerful earthquake struck without warning. Families ran barefoot into the streets, children cried as alarms echoed through the night. And for a brief moment, uncertainty gripped an entire nation. This is the powerful earthquake that has shaken Chile, a country no stranger to seismic disasters, yet once again reminded of the immense forces that lie beneath its surface. Tonight, emergency crews are assessing the damage. Residents remain fearful of aftershocks, and authorities are urging caution as the situation continues to develop. Shortly before dawn, seismic monitoring stations detected a powerful earthquake striking off the coast of Chile. Within moments, the tremors spread across nearby cities and communities. Residents describe being jolted awake by violent shaking. Furniture crashed to the floor, bookshelves toppled, glass shattered, and in apartment buildings lights swung violently from ceilings as the ground beneath them moved. Witnesses reported hearing a deep rumbling sound before the strongest shaking arrived. Some compared it to the sound of a freight train passing directly beneath their homes. Others described feeling as though the entire building was being pushed from side to side. In neighborhoods across the affected region, people rushed outdoors seeking safety. Parents carried sleeping children into open areas. Elderly residents struggled down staircases as alarms sounded throughout apartment complexes. Videos shared online captured scenes of chaos: cars shaking in parking lots, power lines swaying overhead, store shelves collapsing, and frightened residents gathering in streets illuminated only by emergency lights and mobile phones. For many, the fear was immediate, because in Chile, every strong earthquake raises the same question: could something even bigger be coming? As daylight spread across the region, the first reports of damage began to emerge. Emergency officials moved quickly to assess the impact. In several communities, buildings suffered structural damage. Cracks appeared in walls, sections of ceilings collapsed, windows shattered onto streets below. Road crews inspected highways and bridges for signs of damage caused by the shaking. In some locations, small landslides were reported along mountainous roads and coastal routes. Witnesses described debris scattered across streets and sidewalks. Businesses remained closed as engineers inspected buildings for structural safety. Hospitals activated emergency response procedures. Medical teams treated residents injured by falling objects, broken glass, and accidents that occurred during the earthquake. Power outages were reported in some districts as utility crews worked to restore damaged infrastructure. Meanwhile, thousands of residents remained outside. Many were afraid to return home. Others waited anxiously for official updates. Drone footage revealed damaged rooftops, fallen debris, and communities slowly beginning to understand the scale of what had happened. But while the visible destruction was concerning, another threat remained: the possibility of aftershocks. And for many residents, that fear was only beginning. In the hours following the earthquake, smaller tremors continued to ripple through parts of the region. Each aftershock reignited panic. People who had cautiously returned indoors rushed back outside. Families gathered in parking lots, parks, and open spaces. Some residents refused to go back into buildings altogether. Emergency shelters began receiving people who preferred to spend the night away from potentially damaged structures. The psychological impact quickly became apparent. Witnesses described feeling anxious every time a truck passed by or a door slammed shut. Others said they could still feel phantom shaking long after the earthquake ended. Experts warned that aftershocks are a normal part of the seismic process, but they can still be dangerous, especially for buildings already weakened by the initial quake. Throughout the day, engineers inspected schools, hospitals, office buildings, and apartment complexes. Structures showing signs of severe damage were cordoned off as a precaution. Meanwhile, emergency agencies continued monitoring seismic activity around the clock. Because while the main earthquake had passed, the ground beneath Chile remained active, and nobody knew exactly what would happen next. Chile sits along one of the most seismically active regions on Earth. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, massive tectonic plates are constantly moving. One plate slowly slides beneath another in a process known as subduction. Over time, enormous pressure builds along these boundaries. When that pressure is suddenly released, earthquakes occur, and few countries understand this reality better than Chile. The nation has experienced some of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded in human history, including the massive 1960 Valdivia earthquake, the largest earthquake ever measured. That event reached a magnitude of 9.5 and generated devastating tsunamis across the Pacific Ocean. Because of this history, Chile has invested heavily in earthquake-resistant construction and emergency preparedness. Many modern buildings are specifically designed to withstand strong seismic shaking. Experts say these measures have helped reduce casualties during many recent earthquakes. But no system is perfect, and every new earthquake serves as a reminder of the risks facing millions of people living along the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region responsible for the majority of the world's earthquakes and volcanic activity. Tonight, scientists continue studying the latest quake to better understand its characteristics and potential implications. As emergency assessments continue, communities across the affected region are beginning the long process of recovery. Rescue crews remain on standby in case additional incidents occur. Engineers continue inspecting critical infrastructure. Utility workers are restoring power and communication services, and local authorities are coordinating support for residents affected by the earthquake. Families gather outside homes discussing the events of the night before. Businesses assess damage. Schools await safety inspections before reopening. For some residents, life may return to normal relatively quickly. For others, recovery could take much longer, particularly for those whose homes or workplaces suffered significant damage. Meanwhile, emergency officials continue encouraging residents to remain prepared. Emergency kits are being checked, evacuation plans reviewed, and public warnings continue reminding people about the possibility of additional aftershocks. Because in a country shaped by earthquakes, preparedness remains essential, even after the shaking stops. Tonight, Chile is once again confronting the aftermath of a powerful earthquake. Families remain on edge, engineers continue inspections, and emergency crews remain ready should new tremors strike. What began as a quiet night quickly became a reminder of the immense power hidden beneath the Earth's surface. A reminder that in seismic regions like Chile, disasters can arrive without warning. One moment, life feels ordinary. The next, the ground begins to move. For now, the people of Chile wait with resilience and caution as authorities continue monitoring the situation. The strongest shaking may be over, but the uncertainty remains. This story is still developing, and tonight millions are hoping the ground beneath them remains still.